Ben Elohim Chanenu Rachemna Aleinu Adon V'Goel Ben Elohim.
Most of you don't know your tribe of origin. Right now, it doesn't matter. Because even when you hear your name read out of the Lamb's Book of Life, and He also addresses you by your tribe at that time, as it's written and in His Book of Life, you're going to be no less a Jew. And the reason for that is the way the prophecies and the blessings are arranged, patriarchally, and by the prophets, and the way the whole system was set up before we were ever here. We're still living off of the accomplishments and the abundance of the heart of Abraham, without even getting to Yitzchak or Yaakov.
Amen.
New Jerusalem. 12 gates. Got the name of each tribe above the door, right?
Right.
There's no gate that says Christian, or Gentile, or church, or Israelite, or Hebrew, or anything else. Only the 12 tribes.
Amen.
How are you going to get in? Because they got a messenger with each gate. And he's checking the ID. The one that's written on the heart, okay? He's checking. Both the coming and the going. He's checking. That's an indicator. If you're getting checked when you go in and you're getting checked when you come out, that means there must be a reason the living God put him there to do the checking. Got to check the heart. Got to check the heart. When we do our studies in Hebrew, we find that as we read in Devarim, that it is a bothersome thing to the living God. The circumcision of the foreskin of the heart, the circumcision of the heart. And it's already well in place since the time of Abraham. The covenant has a sign with him of the physical circumcision of the flesh. To be able to have a brit in place, there is required what? A cutting. To have a brit, to have a cutting, there's got to be sacrifice. 2-legged, 4-legged, 6-legged, 8-legged. One way or the other, He's going to arrange for us to have a sacrifice. And if your praise, and if your worship, and if your prayers has to grow legs just to fit the bill to be that sacrifice, well, we can intercede enough to do that too. Okay?
Hallelujah.
But you're not going to get past the system that the living God set up. It covers us all. So if we need some more 3x5 cards for you to elaborate on your opinion with expletives, I'll receive those as a prayer request. Okay? But please understand, when we go back to the blessings, it says the kingship will not be removed from Yehuda until Shiloh comes. And even then, it doesn't say it's going to be removed, but it gives us a time frame for the age. If you don't know what Shiloh is, we got a problem. Because then you're stuck.
Yeah.
When you're stuck, you feel like you got a stick. Okay? We have a double inheritance. And simultaneously, we have a dual inheritance. And if you deny being Jewish, you deny the Son.
Yeah. Amen.
And you can't afford to do that. Not for the price that you paid, for the price the Master paid. You can't afford paying His price. Because there's no sacrifice after Him, remember?
Amen.
I mean, we've got such a double inheritance. His mother Miriam, what tribe was she from? Anybody? Yeah. Aharon. Yes. Her husband Joseph, what tribe was he from? Yehuda. What inheritance did she take whenever she married? What happens to the women of our people?
They switch tribes.
Well, they don't switch. What happens to the inheritance right? The inheritance right of the land stays with the tribe. Her personal inheritance rights from her family and her individually and her nationally go with her. Because Torah teaches us we will not deprive our women, our daughters of Israel, our daughters of Jerusalem, what the living God has given in promise. It won't happen. So we have Yeshua being born. And I believe if we go back and study a little, we might discover that he was the firstborn from the womb. Anybody know anything about that? Except for the fellows that I spoke with earlier this morning, you can't talk about it yet? Okay. Anybody know anything about that first from the womb stuff? Do we relate that to maybe the 10th plague? The next week's parashot? We're going to jump a little bit because we're in parashot time. Okay? We got a parallel. Okay? I want your mind active, I want your heart jumping, and I want you reaching for the Master. From the heart. Because guess what? Every time we study, every time we get before the Master, that circumcision of the foreskin of the heart, it's a continuing process for all of us. You know, I know when you walk into some places with the Orthodox, sometimes with the Reformed, you know, and they're greeting you, of course, and letting you know that where your place is at. Well, it doesn't take away what our inheritance is. I'd be willing to wager if you collectively take all the hurt feelings from everybody who suffered rejection in here, I'm still going to tip the balance on you. And I'm not 100 years old yet. So if we want to get into that type of mindset, well, you broke your leg, but let me tell you what I did here, and let me tell you what I did here. We can spend all of our time in that mess. But if you can tell me, I grew enough for the living God's promise here in my life. Can you see it flowing through my life, overflowing in other people's life? Well, I grew enough, and I got this promise over here. I grew enough, but I got these promises over here. Can you show me that kind of leverage? Moshe was sent back to our people. It's a real interesting situation there. In his experience at the burning bush, we've already passed that parashot up. I apologize for that. But for just a little bit of a rehashing, okay, as we move along, and if I start talking like a New Yorker, I apologize. It's almost like a New York preacher, so we got to get our words going so we can get the whole lesson in 3 minutes, so I don't have to talk for 2 hours. The experience that Moshe had at the bush that burned without burning. There was a conversation there. There were words exchanged between him and the Most High.